Hey, in this video, I'm going to help you simplify, edit what you see, and most important of all, what to leave out in a painting. We'll take a look at visual examples that are really going to drive home the point of what to leave out in a painting and how to make things simple and read clearly for the viewer. This might sound really simple, but this is so hard to do. Take the scene behind me, it's green, there's a lot of trees. We have sky, there's shapes. What are we going to do with all of this information? Yeah, it's a big challenge. If you can overcome this hurdle, you're going to become a much better artist. And I'm pretty excited to share some of my ideas with you because I struggled with this for a long time. Hi, I'm Christine Lashley and welcome to my channel. I like to help people grow and be a better artist. I like to talk about things that I've looked at in the studio and also outside. Let's understand the big problem of what to leave out a little bit further. Take the woods behind me, for example. They would make a great painting. There's lots of potential there. I have to make some decisions. I made some small outdoor studies in preparation for creating a larger painting in the studio. So that was a great first step in understanding my scene and working out some ideas. But here's what ended up happening with the big painting. And this is an example we're going to look at in digital form because I got so frustrated with this painting I didn't save the original first step. It got really cluttered and green took over everything. In the beginning stages, there was so much going on, I couldn't see through to the end of the forest. And you can see here, the trees are very evenly spaced, so that's not a good idea. Another pitfall is when all of the dots are the same, such as the sky holes and these flowers down below. Okay, let's review what we've learned so far, look at the whole time lapse and understand that basically I want unequal ratios. I want to be able to move the viewer back, foreground, middle ground, and background. So a sense of distance. That is the simplest way of starting to delete detail and not think about what you're painting, but instead the structure and being analytical with your ratios. Now we can see the final painting and see how far of a journey this has come from the original source of inspiration. I've really created a story for this painting. Here's another example of a field study that I created outdoors, and then on the right is a studio finish. So I reduced the amount of greens and I increased the amount of gray. In order for the lime green to stand out more, I actually needed to reduce the other colors and not have competing colors. To learn visually, we have to look at a lot of things. We have to compare and contrast. So let's check out these master artists who also painted the forest. We have this whole collection of images that Isaac Levitan has painted in oil. And check out the different things that he wanted to say, the mood, the lighting. Some of the trees are dark, some of the trees are light. He has a focus of the greens. Some are lime green, some are silver green. And I just love what he has done with this. And again, by looking at a lot of stuff, I feel that things get clarified and simplified for me because it helps me realize the singular elements I want to say and the things to subtract from my own paintings. So do combine the learning of master artists, looking at other people's work, education on YouTube. These are all important ways to learn. Now, looking at more pieces of master work, we can look at, for example, look at the lyrical brush marks of Pierre Bonnard. Maybe this resonates with you, and perhaps compare that to what John Singer Sargent has done in this painting of an oil. So all of these images we just looked at feature the forest, and the artist was looking deeply and seeing into the nuances and not just counting the trees. There's much more being said in these collection of paintings that we looked at. So check in with yourself next time you're taking not only reference photos, but choosing what to paint to make sure that you're offering a really personal view of the scene in your painting. Okay, we solved the forest dilemma, but what about something complicated like mountains? How would you simplify this and make a good painting? Don't get me wrong, plein air has taught me a lot about looking and reacting to what I see, but there is a problem with just only look and capture without the editing process. I have had successful paintings, and here's an example of a photo and the final painting, but I've also had scenarios where things just did not go very well. And looking back in hindsight, I realized it was this process of editing and knowing what to focus on, but most important of all, what to leave out. You can just feel how much happier I was to leave all of that yucky green behind and move into blues and more impressionistic brush marks in this painting. So you can see what to leave out actually depends on your clarity of focus and intent. Let's go back to the mountains because they offer a lot of potential for complicated scenes and adding too much information. I'm going to walk you through a situation where I really was drawn to this beautiful scene at twilight. I pulled over the car and made a quick study, but I realized my study never captured the full beauty of the scene that I saw in that fleeting moment. I took the information back to the studio and had a go at creating this painting again in oil. And here's a couple of different versions. You could see with each version, I get a little closer to the truth. And in hindsight, I realized I was deleting information and shifting the viewer's eye to the point that the painting was actually about, which was the top ridge of the mountains caught in sunlight. Now, it might look like I actually added more detail, but what I did is I clarified my intent. And in the end, in the successful version, I deleted all of the extra tree information because it was distracting from the top ridge line of the mountains. Okay, it's time to check out some photos and then the final painting. And in these paintings of mine, you can see that some, such as these aspen trees, are fairly literal. In other words, I saw the scene, I captured the reference, and pretty much made a painting right from the photo because it was a well done photo. So you can organize your reference and take a lot of pictures to see which one is the best one. You want to look for foreground, middle ground, and background, but there are times where you have to go beyond the photo and really take out things, such as in this example of these brightly lit mountains. I really wanted to emphasize the color, so I actually reduced a lot of detail, and basically the color was the whole point of the painting, and it's less about the shapes of the individual trees. And here in this mountain scene, the valley just had so much going on that I really had to regroup on what I was painting and decide, okay, it's really about the light and the foreground, kind of skipping over the middle ground a little bit and pushing the mountains far off into the background and just really embracing those jagged shapes. This next example was stitching two photos together. So I saw last light, it was a beautiful scene, and I did kind of a quick study that actually turned out pretty well. I didn't feel like that needed a lot of adjustments back in the studio, but I did a large painting from that day and the reference. And the first painting, it was good, but it just, I don't know, I feel like when I looked at this, especially as a larger work, I was just looking at kind of the fluffy brush marks, and it seemed more of like a bright day situation. So even if you like this version better, I mean, that's okay. But I ended up really liking the clarified and simplified version with truer intent, which is a deepening of the shadows and really adhering to the idea of raking light in that last kind of setting sun rays of the day. It felt like peaceful summer, and it was really true to the feeling I was trying to get at. It's hard to put this in words, but hopefully by seeing all of these visuals, it gives you further examples of what to take out just in visual form. It's pretty simple when it comes down to simplify and take stuff out. But as you can see in my art journey, sometimes I go about it in a roundabout way. If you want to see a more complete example on how to paint from a photograph and be interpretive, I created a recent video here on my YouTube channel, so you might want to check it out. For deeper learning, my online program has step-by-step instruction, plus critique, live demo, and student interaction. The link is down below if you're interested in checking that out. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your experience simplifying. Hey, I really hope this resonated with you. Do like and subscribe. It helps my channel to grow, and I appreciate you being here. Okay, well, thanks for hanging in there while we covered how to simplify. And until next time, happy painting.